What's happening, crypto traders and investors? It's Rod with Powell Group. Welcome back in the pursuit of wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews. Today is Sunday. Happy Sunday. It's December 7th. Hope you're doing awesome. In this video, we're going to do another rapid fire news update, this time for the period November 29th to December 5th. And I'm happy to report that I'm back to normal. I feel fully healthy again after being hit with the plague for a couple of weeks. It was just impossible to shake, but we'll jump into the rapid fire news. Again, it's just a high level overview in case you missed it. Not a deep dive detail or anything like that, and as always, not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. Make sure to like, subscribe, tick the bell. You'll be notified on any future content, and I do these videos each and every week. Follow us over on X as well, formerly Twitter. The handle for that is @GroupPow. There's a lot of censorship going on right now on YouTube, so you never know. It's always good to have a second point of contact. And we're also on Rumble as well, just in case the cyber overlords decide to shun or to silence my channel. Also, Ripple reality check. Okay, so this is a hilarious take. And I love it. If you're in crypto and you consider yourself like somewhat of a, like, even if you know 1% about anything, like, this is so stupid. Like, if you're in crypto and you don't know the difference between XRP and Ripple, you probably shouldn't be in crypto. That's just the long and short of it. But I would argue that probably like less than 1% of people actually don't understand. They're just pretending to not understand because they're talking their book. They're trying to pump their bags that are Bitcoin heavy or Ethereum heavy or Solana heavy, right? The three main ones that all the venture capitalists pump and promote, and that's because they didn't get early seed rounds in XRP, right? Because XRP was actually great tokenomics, a great management, great rollout, right? Everything else was just a complete scam as far as I'm concerned. We still don't even know who the creator of Bitcoin is. In my opinion, it was the U.S. government. They probably own the most Bitcoin. And they're fluffing everybody in. They're flurrying everybody in. They're giving everybody this fluff that it was a libertarian movie. You're going right into a government system, folks. Like, let's not kid ourselves here. So Brad Garlinghouse insists XRP isn't governed by Ripple and has no CEO. No, that would be Ripple. That's a company and has a CEO and a board of directors. XRP is a digital currency, just like Bitcoin. If you think Bitcoin has a CEO, you're dumb. End of story. So stop it. Stop with the stupidity. NASDAQ pushes for SEC green light on tokenized stocks. So, folks, this is heating up in a big way, and we have an update with regards to the SEC, which is obviously going to be the regulator, the watchdog to permit all of this, and to fast track all of it. So we're going to see it a little bit more further into this video. Also, Ripple receives approval to expand payment services in Singapore. Not XRP, Ripple, the company. MAS broadens scope of major payment institution license for blockchain firm's subsidiary. And XRP was created before Ripple, the company. So stop with your low IQ nonsense. Everybody knows at this point it's just to confuse everybody and to paint Ripple or XRP in a negative light, right? It'd be like saying Bitcoin has a CEO, right? It's just the stupidest thing. I can't even, I wasn't going to include it because it's so dumb. I feel like my brain cells are slowly leaving me as I stoop down to that level. But yeah, another thing that hurt the crypto market was the China crackdown. So they announced harsh crackdown on crypto and asset and stablecoins. I'm not even going to go into this because it seems like every couple of months, every year or two, we're into some sort of China FUD, right? I don't really give a shit, to be honest. Excuse my French, but for China, you can just float. No one cares. It's a global asset class. No one gives a shit about whatever you think about it. The fact of the matter is countries, companies around the world are all flocking to this new form of this new asset class, this new internet of money, and you can't stop it. You can try to be as communist and prevent people from doing it's so ridiculous. It's a free world out there. People want to invest in it. Who are you to tell people not to invest their money? You can go to a casino, you can go to McDonald's and eat yourself crazy, but you can't invest into a crypto or a startup company. It's just so asinine. Also, Japan moves to impose flat 20% tax. This is so profound, folks, on crypto gains. Matching stock market rates. You see, Canada, a long time ago, we had this crazy idea where we were just going to treat crypto like stocks. Whoa! And the U.S. can't even get their shit together either. Like, it's so ridiculous, the state of affairs. But it's not because they're dumb. It's because it's all by design. It's called regulatory capture. It's the way they want it. They want the limbo. They want the ambiguity. They want the purgatory. And so that all the incumbents, the payment processors, the institutional, investors and the banks, the Wall Street banks, can get positioned because they're going to be disrupted. Same with SWIFT and everything, right? Also, Canary Capital claims XRPC is now the leading spot XRP ETF, and it should be. It was the first one to launch, had the biggest record inflows, 245 million, I think it was, beat BlackRock's Bitcoin spot ETF on day one, folks. So yeah, if you're going to pick an ETF to buy, I would say buy Canary Capital. If BlackRock comes out tomorrow, great. Do not buy it. I would rather, I'd rather eat dirt actually than give BlackRock any profit. Can't stand them. Hope they go to zero. That'd probably be the worst thing forever for the world, though, because they basically run the world. Digital asset products see 1.07 billion inflows as XRP sets all-time record. Guys, girls, it's gonna get crazy. XRP is gonna be the best investment ever. Ripple will be the most valuable company. XRP will be the most valuable digital asset. I would argue that Ripple and XRP are probably the two best investments of a species, of any species, of any of our lifetimes, of any past species, future species. It's going to be the number one company and digital asset to invest in, and in my opinion, asset when it's all said and done. No need for me to try to convince you. Just wait long enough and time will convince you. I don't need to worry about that. Market braces for Fed rate cut as Jerome Powell stays silent before decision. What to expect next? So this week, more than likely going to see them cut, I would think, and then it's going to continue to add more froth to this market, in my opinion. In the next few months, are going to get pretty crazy. So gear up for the massive fireworks show here into the end of the year and into probably the first quarter, second Q of 2026. Also, Vanguard completely did a 180, $11 trillion Vanguard officially lists Bitwise Spot XRP ETF. They had a bunch as well. They had AgeBar, Bitcoin. So they said for forever that we were going to boycott all this. We're not going to allow any of this nonsense. And as we know, they all bend the knee eventually. And it's very, very close to hitting that mainstream kind of adoption phase where every retirement account, pension fund, company, country, everything's going to be just, you're going to see tokenization of stocks. You're going to see everything available through traditional ETF wrappers and traditional stock brokerages accounts. So they're setting up the infrastructure. They're setting up basically the next step, which is the blow off top to usher everybody and their dog, Tom, Dick, Harry, Helen, and their dog and cat and everything, and like every single person and animal under the sun into this new system. Then they're going to use that to exit the market makers, the VCs of the world who invested early into Solana. Not XRP, because XRP didn't allow any of that nonsense. But if you want to buy like corrupt scam coins, you go to Bitcoin, you go to Ethereum, you go to Solana, and those are the ones where you're able to buy in before the mainnet and disguise whales, right? All that kind of, fraud, if you will. So if you want to participate in fraud and all that nonsense scam activity, then you can go to those. But at the end of the day, they're going to use it as exit liquidity, right? Especially those venture capitalists. They'll have no mercy on your soul. Also, Bank of America opens the door to Bitcoin ETFs with new allocation guidance. So essentially, they're recommending of up to 4% to their clients. Again, every money manager, every financial advisor is going to be pushing this stuff, folks. Also, Re.Pay, I think is how you pronounce it, taps Ripple to roll out Nigerian Naira crypto cash outs. So, folks, it's not just one country, it's not just one company, it's the whole world moving because they don't want to get left behind. It's game theory, right? Once 1, 2, 3, 5, 1,700 move, then they're all gonna follow. Also, Canary Capital has filed an amended S1 for its American-made crypto ETF, updating disclosures and structure as part of the SEC's review process. Key assets in the ETF, Bitcoin. I don't understand how. How do we know who created it? Unless they know who the 4 Satoshis are. They already said that's a group, but they said it's 4 Satoshis. So maybe they know they're from the U.S. So again, I've been saying for a while now, Raoul Pal agrees with me. Tucker Carlson said it was I think he said it was the CIA who created it. I bet you any money it was the NSA combined with the CIA. And in conjunction with probably the UK government, I think Raoul Pal is probably spot on there. So that tells me that they probably know who the creator is. ETH, no idea what the hell's going on there. HBAR, Sol, XRP, ADA, and AVAX. But apparently XRP, the number one digital asset on the planet, is going to be the number one holding in that ETF, and rightly so. Kraken Exchange set to acquire Backed Finance ahead of IPO. The U.S. exchange will acquire the company behind XStocks and tokenized equities. And folks, this is really happening. You're going to see no more closing bell, 24/7, 365 markets, just like crypto in the stock world. It's coming faster than a lot of people would expect. Also, Ripple shines on NASDAQ Tower. Folks, Ripple's going to be the number one company when it's all said. It's going to be bigger than SpaceX, Tesla, Apple, Amazon, all of them. It's going to be the number one company. Mark my words. Also, spot XRP ETFs have record 11 consecutive days of net inflows since launching, while Bitcoin and everything else has seen I think Bitcoin had $2 billion in outflows, and BlackRock's, it's totally normal. They're probably selling it, buying XRP, adding another 89.6 million on Monday and seeing a total cumulative inflows of 756 million. Also, the SEC chair, Paul Atkins, says the agency has enough authority to advance crypto regulation without waiting for Congress, who never does their job, and plans to unveil an innovation exemption for digital asset projects within a month. So, folks, like I said, next couple months, get ready for some face ripper rallies and just change and innovation that you wouldn't even have thought possible. You would have thought this would take decades. Folks, it's going to happen in a matter of months, years, I would say a few years max. Also, the UK classifies crypto as property with a new law. So again, US, UK, I believe, all had their hand, maybe even a few other countries, in this new Internet of Value. And Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin, Ethereum was all just a prototype. It was Bitcoin, then XRP was created, then Ethereum was created. Not many people know that. But yeah, it's so obvious to me that XRP is not even it's in a complete world of its own, folks. It's the bastard child, right? They're trying to hurt Ripple. They're trying to talk shade on XRP, and they're trying to throw it under the bus. And it's like, when everybody's talking about how bad it is, why are you talking about it? If it's not good, if it's bad, why are you even talking about it? Why are you throwing shade 24/7? It's because they're threatened by it, right? They have to. And it's just hilarious to see these people just, kind of walk around with their head down, their tail between their legs. They don't have a fucking clue what they're talking about half the time. It's hilarious. I just love it. But yeah, they're going to be, grown men will weep, let's put it that way, to quote Kevin O'Leary. And even Kevin O'Leary says, I didn't bring it up, but I'll just mention it here. He said, Bitcoin and Ethereum are the only ones that are valuable. Everything else, all the other poo-poo coins, all coins will go to zero. I said, he's clearly done buying, and he's now selling Bitcoin and Ethereum and buying altcoins. I bet you XRP's at the top. It's so obvious, folks. It's just... they're just complete pieces of crap, But you know what? The world's full of it, so they make the world go around, I guess. Robinhood sets date for new AI trading tools. So Robinhood will roll out on Wednesday. It was December 3rd. Robinhood will roll out new artificial intelligence tools and prediction market products on December 16th. Oh, yeah, so the article is on December 3rd. So it's going to be on December 16th in a move that expands its menu of trading services. And Mr. Beast is also getting into trading as well to compete with Robinhood and etc. Also, PayPal's PYUSD stablecoin surges to 3.8 billion market cap from 1.2 billion in September. Folks, stablecoins, crypto, it's at that final phase where mainstream media, mainstream adoption is finally here, right? Everybody and their dog, you can't ignore it anymore. It's gotten too big. It's too big to fail. It's too big to ignore. And every single part of the world is going to swallow all asset classes, right? It's a new asset class to swallow all asset classes. And everybody and their dog, Tom, Dick, Harry, Helen, dog, cat, everybody is going to be ushered into this system. Also, Firelight launches XRP staking protocol on Flare, with STXRP plan to earn rewards through DeFi insurance. Folks, with all these ETFs locking it up and these DeFi protocols and total value locked, all locking up XRP. Just imagine what's going to happen when these supply shocks happen. I reported on it last week. Each exchange, Binance, they're all at record lows for XRP reserves on exchanges, folks. It's going to be a matter of weeks, if not days at this point, before we see massive price eruption. The SEC chairman, Paul Atkins, pushes for tokenization in U.S. finance. So again, it's happening a lot quicker than many ever expected. Also, Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong says major banks are testing crypto on exchanges before offering it to clients. Folks, the writing's on the wall. Mass adoption is just around the corner. And Georgia explores on-chain land registry with Hedera. Folks, you see how big this industry is. And it's going to touch every sector of the economy, every sector of the globe, every nation, every company, every sector. It's going to be probably the biggest investment of our lifetime. And like I said, Ripple will be the number one company. XRP will be the number one asset. Probably the two best investments ever. Also, Chainlink's first U.S. spot ETF opened strong with 41 million in day one inflows, and that's from none other than Grayscales. They converted their trust, and that's trading for GLNK. So So love to see it. Again, alt season just around the corner as well with all these alt ETFs and Bitcoin just being Bitcoin. Absolutely terrible. And it's going to continue to bleed, right? And you got all these companies like MicroStrategy. It's so obvious, right? When every single mainstream media company is promoting Bitcoin and Ethereum, and you go into any exchange and just buy Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? They're doing that because they know that those two are probably not even going to survive. If they do, it's because they were allowed to live, not because the world decided to, the free market decided to. The only reason why is because the mass media and the narrative, the talking heads allow it to survive, and the governments allow it to survive. But if the free market had to decide, I bet you any money, Bitcoin would long be obsolete. I bet you it's the dial-up internet, right? Why the hell would we want to use dial-up internet in today's world, right? And Ethereum was just absolute garbage from the get-go. Even the founder said it was a prototype. When it costs more in fees, like if you want to buy a coffee and you want to send it in Ethereum or Bitcoin, it costs more in fees than the coffee costs. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Anyway, they're not fooling me, and I would say everybody who's tuned into this show knows how to read through all the smoke and mirrors and the BS. Solana ETF see record outflow as 21 shares TSOL bleeds 42 million. Now it's because it's an absolute piece of crap chain. Also, Michael Burry renews his harsh Bitcoin critique, calling it worth nothing. I personally don't think it really has any value other than the fact that people think it has value. It failed to do what it was set out to do, to peer-to-peer cash system. Nobody uses it as a cash system. They say store of value. Well, we have XRP, which burns a little bit of XRP with every transaction. Not even Bitcoin has that. So it doesn't matter if you have 50 billion, 100 billion, 200 trillion. If a $200 trillion coin is burning every single transaction, that means it's deflationary, whereas Bitcoin is not inflationary, but it's not deflationary either. So, yeah, you could argue that XRP is a better store of value. And I would probably agree with Michael Burry that Bitcoin has no value because there's other protocols that the value's in the protocol. Bitcoin has no protocol. It's just because it was first? Nah, that's bullshit, right? And then Michael Burry says, stock market may turn bearish for years, and one sector could buck the trend. And he's talking about healthcare. What have I been saying on this channel for a while now? As soon as we top out, we could be going into a multi-year bear market. It's probably going to be like the dot-com days, right? It's probably going to be one of the worst crashes in history. And what have I been saying for years on this channel? MJ, psilocybin, and biotech are probably going to be the number one performing sectors. And he's talking about healthcare, which these are all pretty much lumped into. I'm going to go a little bit quicker here. XRP ledger activity hits highest level of 2025. XRP's market price has been drifting downward for several months, but activity on the ledger has moved in the opposite direction. XRP's velocity surged to its highest point in 2025, signaling intense network movement. Oh, folks, this is just the whales, the market makers getting positioned. They know that's why there's so many scams, right? So many deep fakes, and send us your XRP, we'll send you back double or triple or whatever. You know what? You name your price. We'll just give you as many XRP as you want. Just send us this, because they all know the big finale is coming soon. Also, the CFTC says spot crypto is now eligible to trade on CFTC registered exchanges as mainstream adoption is here, folks. Also, Kraken and Deutsche Börse strike partnership to link traditional and digital markets as, again, game theory continues to play out. Nobody wants to get left behind. Even the DTCC says the shift to 24/7/5 trading, what it means for U.S. equity markets. So they're going to start with the Monday to Friday 24/7, and then they'll eventually do 7 days a week, 24/7, 365, just like crypto, in my opinion. Also, this was a weird one. IMF, International Monetary Fund, says stablecoins, they're warning that they could erode monetary sovereignty worldwide. I think this is just a hit piece in a FUD article. This is absolutely bullshit. Stablecoins are pegged 1-to-1 to different fiat currencies, so they make them stronger. I don't know what the hell they're smoking over there. I think it's just them being disingenuous and trying to lead people astray in the wrong direction. Also, Spectra launches on Flare with yield trading for SFLR and upcoming ST XRP. So I'm super bullish on Flare as well. I've been accumulating Flare like crazy. Even in the Power Group private community, we've all been doing that. We've been staking again in the Flare drops, getting the delegation rewards. Just so much free money, it's not even funny. And excited to see what future holds there for Flare and all this, DeFi activity on XRP and other chains that don't have native DeFi capabilities. Also, XRP hit its highest fear level since October, when similar bearish sentiment preceded a 22% rally in November, suggesting another buying opportunity per sentiment. And some more data, logic, and reason that we're more than likely going to see an explosive move here in the not too distant future. Also, SpaceX overtakes OpenAI as the most valuable private company with 800 billion share sale valuation. I would argue that Ripple, not the company, not the digital asset XRP, the company, Ripple, I bet you it'll be more than SpaceX. I bet you it'll be worth more than OpenAI. And apparently Elon Musk came out and denied the rumor of an $800 billion private company valuation. I don't know if he's denying that they're going to take it public or the valuation. It sounded like just like the valuation, but never believe basically anything that you read on the internet. Also, Sony to launch US gaming stablecoin in 2026. Again, mass adoption here, folks. And there's a lot of speculation that they could be using XRP or some sort of crypto, maybe RLUSD, maybe XRP, maybe some sort of crypto for GTA 6, if that ever gets released. They're talking next fall, I believe it is now. So, yeah, I think it's like next November. So, if it ever comes, but maybe they're just postponing because of that. Also, Western Union bends the knee. They launch USDPT stablecoin and prepaid card in major shift towards digital payments. Folks, when Western Union's capitulating, you know that the best is just around the corner. And French banking giant BPCE to launch in-app crypto trading report as every single country around the world rushes to take part in this new it's going to be the biggest transfer of wealth in history. Who would want to be a part of it? And Michael Saylor's Bitcoin playbook backfire. Who would imagine that? You just high leverage, just take out, dilute your stock into oblivion, take out massive loans to buy the riskiest asset class on the planet. I hope he loses everything. I hope he learns his lesson. He's just a complete wacko. I've never seen anybody so dumb in my entire life. I can't even listen to him speak anymore. Hopefully he loses everything and the investors are made whole. I hope that's the way things play out. But these 100+ companies, what are you doing? What are you doing buying Bitcoin on leverage? What are you doing buying Bitcoin at all-time highs? It's so dumb. Like, even if it goes to 200,000 from here, the risk is to the downside. I wouldn't even touch Bitcoin with a 10-foot pole now. And not knowing who created it, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night holding an asset that you don't imagine buying Apple. You don't know who created Apple. Imagine buying Microsoft. You don't know who created Microsoft. It's just so dumb. Anyway, it's entertaining, I guess. Well, it'll be fun to see how it all shakes out. And as Warren Buffett says, who gets caught with their pants down when the tide goes out? We're going to see it very, very soon. And I think it was Galaxy Digital, Mike Novogratz, that said there's a lot of market makers that are insolvent. That October 10th flash crash and biggest liquidation event in history, bigger than FTX. He believes that there's a lot of people that are still feeling the pain that we haven't been made aware of yet. They're probably saving that for the bear market in a few months, right? All right, let me know what you think of this news. It's Rod with Pal Group. Thanks again for joining us in the Pursuit of Wealth. It was a long one this week. Lots to go over. And like I said, I just cherry picked the major ones. You should see the tons of information and news pieces there are. It's ridiculous. It takes me like hours to go through it and just select all the major ones. All right, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you on the next video.